Okay, so welcome to the course, guys, and this is Microsoft Azure Administrator AZ104 and AZ500 Azure Security. The security one itself is a tough course, but it's a good combination. I would say it's a deadly combination. So, because first you need to know the inside out of the Azure to secure it, right? So these two really make perfect sense. I wanted to not offer four-in-one course because that goes very long, and now I cannot afford it that long. So Microsoft, in terms of time, it's really tough, and I can't just offer theory. I have to offer all the labs. Microsoft Azure Administrator. So this is all about the Microsoft platform, and so I'm going to be talking about all the topics of AZ104, and then we're going to go for Azure security. So first we know inside out of Azure AZ104, and then we go check how to secure that platform. And that security options are ever changing. They are adding more and more security. This is the same for Microsoft 365 environment as well, where there is Exchange, Teams, and others. So later after this course, I'll be launching that too. But also, I can't go for so many courses. AZ104, Exchange, and Teams. That's all. Uh, uh, so, not AZ104. Sorry, Azure Active Directory, Exchange, and Teams. So Exchange and Teams mainly it would be. So anyway, this is let's just go ahead and talk about some job opportunities that you can have when you get this course. I've been giving interviews and I still keep giving interviews. I'm doing a 9 to 5 job at Condominium Authority, Ontario, and they're totally online. It's not a big organization; it's a small one, and it's having everything online. So it's Azure and Microsoft 365, purely that environment. No AWS, no Google Cloud. So when I gave interviews in other companies as well, and I keep giving, so it's they will have majority of the companies here in GTA, Greater Toronto area, have AZ104. Did I say AZ104? Have Azure, and Microsoft 365 is kind of a must now because of pandemic. The companies had to move to some online platform, and Microsoft got millions and millions of new users, and big companies adopted. So you would find that the companies are looking for Azure administrators and Exchange and Teams administrator. I can't help mentioning that. Still, that and obviously Azure is pretty much in North America. So you want to go for any job interviews in US or in Canada. So you will find Azure there. And because of the cost saving, because of the less learning curve there, the administrators already have been going through Microsoft environments. They've been handling Microsoft infrastructure on premises. So it's not that different from there, or at least it's the same vendor. So that's why you would find Azure. Wherever you find Azure, you need to secure it as well. If Azure is there, you need to secure it, right? And ransomware attacks news. The more I read that, it's attacking many of the companies in Canada and and US and all around the world. So there are so many attacks going on. How do you really secure that environment? So these two certifications are a must-have on your resume, and that's very critical. So Jay says on the chat, most of the jobs I see for Azure is senior admin level. Yeah, well, they would always go for anyone with experience. But if we do the course and learn the skills and put it in the resume, and whatever experience we have previously, or if we start gaining experience onwards. So suppose you're applying for a job after 6 months of this, or 1 year after this. So at least in the resume, you would be showing that this course or these skills you learned 1 year ago. So sometimes the companies do consider it as an experience as well. Wow, okay, so this course is already done, so this person knows all these skills already. It's not like yesterday this person knew all these skills. It's 1 year back this person knew these skills. So after that, you can put some experience there as well in the resume. But obviously, you have to mention all the main topics. You have to mention in your resume all the main disaster recovery and high availability options there. So main features. So yeah, when this course ends, give me your resume, or I'll give you some tips about what to put in your resume. So it would be more attractive. Obviously, yes, if there are more experienced admins out there, so those would be first priority, but it's not always the case. I've seen students there, who have done a lot of courses and the resume is full, and there were company, not was a company, that took interviews. They kept on taking interviews, whoever they found in the interview. If you're able to impress them in the interview, obviously, then they take it. Suppose they were not able to find any experienced admin, and that happened many times, that they could not find anyone at that particular time. So if you're there, then and if you perform the interview good, yes, it could be you. So but obviously then they know that, okay, the learning curve is more, so it depends on how much willing they are for you to learn and implement. So it's always a combination of what you did, how did you perform in the interview, what is in your resume, are there any other courses in the resume that really hit them, and then they would like you. So there's most in there. I have done CCNA. What is the prereq for the course? For this course, you mean? Prerequisite for this course is that, are you willing to work hard? Have you used computer ever? So no, this is not it. AZ104 is for administrators. If you have more experience in infrastructure, Microsoft infrastructure, maybe if you're a total Cisco person, maybe you're a total Linux person, maybe you have done mix of Linux, Cisco, Microsoft, or any of the other mix or combinations. Yes, this course is for you. If you're a beginner, you have done some other courses, that is also good. You should do this course as well. The more, if you're a beginner and you haven't done any other course or one or two courses, and you say, oh, since I did not do other courses, so I will not do this one as well. So that would be very funny thing to do, that, oh, I haven't done any other, so I'm not going to do that. Start from somewhere, man. So yeah, that's what my suggestion is, that for beginners, you need to start from somewhere to do the most critical courses as soon as possible, to be ready to get jobs, to enter the IT market, or better jobs if you perform better in interview and they're willing to teach you, or bear with you while you're learning and implementing. So the amazing thing is that the company I got the job for, there are some features there that I didn't know. Nobody can know everything, right? So there was they have a call center as well, right? So the call center related software. So there's a IVR, and then there are call center related functionalities with Bell. So I had no exposure on that, but I had exposure on Azure and AWS and Microsoft 365. So they knew that, okay, I know Azure and Microsoft 365. That was the main thing they wanted to know. And then they said, okay, have you ever been exposed to call center software? And so I said, no, but I am willing to learn, and that's it. They said, okay, come in and we will teach you, and they then gave me trainings there for that software. So the thing is, do you have the required skills? Go get them and put them on your resume, that yes, I have these skills, and then the company says, okay, the rest of the skills we are willing to teach you if you have the main skills. So you have to start somewhere, and this is the best somewhere. This is one of the most sought after skills that you must have in your resume. If you don't have it, then I'm just wondering, what's your plan? Or who told you plan? Or do you have a plan? So it is, that's why I'm starting this one, because of the demand from pretty much everywhere, and I saw in the market, I keep an eye on the market. Okay, this next thing I would want to show you is, oh, okay, sorry. So, could not able to see your picture. Guys, are you able to see um, Mohammed, Mudassir, are you not able to see my screen, or are you not able to see my video? Okay, so my picture may not be that important to see, but are you able to see the screen? So that would be the main thing. Okay, thank you. So guys, that's one thing why this course is important, and some of my experience as well, that AZ104 and AZ500 is a deadly combination. It's a great combination to start with, to go in the market. But the main point here is, so many excuse me, frog stuck in the throat. Ribbit. So many other online colleges are also offering this course, and so many individuals are offering this course. This course is pretty much everywhere. Uh, but the main thing I say is, my idea about doing the course is that it has to be job oriented, and those who have attended my course know that very well. That when I say job oriented, this means labs, labs, and labs. So the whole 4 hour will be just labs, labs, labs. So that's how we learn. Suppose I was your swimming instructor. So day one, I would take you to the swimming pool, after giving some boring theory, which is actually life-saving boring theory. And then I will just throw you in the water, not the shallow one, the one where you can survive. But this is how water feels. That's how I'm going to teach you. But it's not the same with the car. I can't take risk with that. But anyway, the thing is that we will do as many labs as we can. In fact, there are some on-premises labs that I always include, that are pretty long labs, and doing those steps are already it's kind of long ones, but they are so critical. Like, if you can do if you have a virtual machine on your Hyper-V and you want to create a replica, a partner of active passive partner, one virtual machine in your laptop and its partner passive virtual machine in Azure, and you're failing over from your on-premises environment or from your laptop to your Azure environment. Now that's a big lab, but that's so critical for you. You know that, you put it in your resume. That resume really stands, aside from other resume, that you know how to do a failover from on-premises, a virtual machine, to a cloud. So that's pretty long steps there, but that's what we're gonna. That's one example of what we will do. But normally, those who have attended my other courses, you know that I go through all the features. You know that going through every feature becomes boring. But believe me, when I was giving interview for this current job, so they were just asking me, okay, how to do this in Azure, how to do that in Microsoft 365, how to do that in Exchange, SharePoint, and Teams, and then back to Azure. So since I went through all the steps so many times, it was just like in front of me, the whole environment, and I'm just telling them, blah, 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 blah. I went there and do this and did this, and kept on just repeating my whole lab. And they were like, whoa, whoa, okay, stop. Can we go for some other topic? And they were saying that. So that's what I would want you to do, that in the interview when they ask, okay, tell me how to configure Azure Site Recovery. So you start, and they have to stop you, right? You should have so much knowledge, quality knowledge, right? You should say quality stuff. It's not like, basic stuff. They would just scan you. The interviews have scanners, right? I don't know how, but they scan you inside out, and they can know when you're bluffing and when you're really giving quality material. So the thing is that you can give quality material with confidence if you have done all the labs, if you've repeated the labs multiple times. My suggestion, whatever labs we do here, At least do them 2 or 3 times. Repetition is the golden word. Repetition. Did you repeat the labs at least twice? No, you're lazy. Okay, then prepare for the consequences. You won't perform in the interview the way you should because you never worked hard enough, right? So the main thing is you need to work hard. You need to repeat the labs. The quality labs are coming your way. I'm not praising myself. It's just that you can see all around on the internet as well and compare. The thing is that I go for the toughest labs, and this is going to be useful for you, right? So did you repeat? If you did not work hard enough, when you work hard, when you repeat the labs multiple times, the way you talk, the confidence level in you, when you start talking in the interview, that confidence level is felt uh, by the interviewers as well. It will be felt by the interviewers as well, because when you talk with comfort on Azure skills and features, they will know right away, okay, this person must have done a lot of work. The way he or she is talking about the technologies, and with the comfort level he or she is talking about the tough technologies, about the storage, about the virtual machine features, about the synchronization across regions, about cross-region replication for storage. So when you talk with comfort, that confidence only comes from hard work. That confidence only comes from repetition. When you start talking, yeah, it is. Okay, so this means that okay, you may have read the book, maybe you've watched the YouTube video, maybe you saw once, but that's not very convincing how you're gonna handle our $1 million environment. Hundreds of thousands of dollars we have spent on our uh, licenses, and are you gonna really handle it well when you're not even confidently talking about it in the interview? So that's the one of the main things. The more hard work you do, the confidence level increases, and you nail the interview, right? So many students I've seen with past no job experience but did 7 or 8 courses. The confidence level, they really worked hard. Some of them crazily gave 18 hours. That's crazy. I'm not asking you to do that. But their eyes next day would be totally red. And one student actually went to the he was totally new and beginner, but he did 7 or 8 courses. The level of effort was that the doctor had to tell him, hey, your eyes need some rest. Don't look at the screen for 1 week now. The doctor had to tell him. And he told me, and he said, okay, I also said, okay, health comes first. But now, before, when he started the course, I thought, this guy is too new. I don't think he has any future. But his sheer hard work put him as a, after 7 months of courses and looking for a job for a few months more, within 1.5 years, he became a contractor. Now he's a contractor. He's doing contracts. And at the start of the courses, I was seeing him, and I was like, oh man, why is he here? I don't see any future for him. So sheer hard work is the only difference, guys. Okay, so that point made, if you are willing to really work hard, this course is for you. And is this the correct course according to the market requirement? Yes. Okay, well, don't take my word for that, or anyone's word for that. So normally I would tell that go to job recruitment sites and put it there. So put your area there, and then check whatever course you're about to do. Is it worth putting your time and effort on? And so normally I just type Azure and where Toronto. Okay, so and then automation programmer, Azure PowerShell specialist. Oh man, okay, that's a tough one. But do you know Azure to become PowerShell specialist of that? So that's where I'm saying that if they are asking for much more, but do you have the start to go to much more? If you know what I'm saying. So Azure support engineer, soft choice, okay, and that's in Toronto. Soft choice actually have a lot of jobs for Azure, Microsoft 365, AWS, Google Cloud in Toronto. System engineer, Grand and Toy 3.5, well, that's the company name, One, and they are Azure DevOps engineer. DevOps is the next level after you go for Azure, AWS, Exchange Online, Teams Online, and other online courses, security. Then DevOps is the next thing. I am going through some DevOps experience in my current job as well. So I'm going to launch that course as well soon. Whatever is in the industry, I need to introduce that in my courses. So System Administrator, Azure, Confusion always have some job openings there for Azure. Integration Solution Specialist, Toronto. Some give the salary because there are not many available, so then they give salaries as well. Okay, this is what we're giving. And then Senior Data Engineer, so it goes on, right? Next pathway, Bond Brand Loyalty, so it goes on. DevOps Engineer, Azure DevOps Engineer, Network Engineer. So they have Azure skills. They're just asking for Azure skills. Well, it's not just asking, it's always a combination of skills. It's not just Azure, Ccna, and Azure and AWS, Microsoft 365, and some infrastructure experience, and whatever other vendor-related software they have. So it goes on. System Administrator, that's the overall systems administrator. So when you go inside, then you know the details, but Azure is always one of them. So it goes on, and average you would see 70 to 75 K per year. Oh, per hours. Oh, seriously? Okay, that's per hour. That's, wow. Hey, which one is that? Comcast. Okay, I'll just save it for later. Okay, so anyway, Network Engineer, and it goes on. Page 2, 3, 4, 5, Toronto. That's just Toronto, right? Or Mississauga, I guess. But yeah, Mississauga, Vaughan, Toronto. So that's one page. You can go ahead with other pages as well. And if you type their Microsoft 365, it's the same thing. That wherever you see AWS, you will see Azure. Wherever you see Microsoft 365 or Office 365, you will see Azure as well. Wherever you see Google Cloud, you will see Azure. So Azure is in pretty much every job opening. So that's why Azure is critical, and you know, the more you work hard, the better you get. That's where. So yes, Azure courses. And learning those skills are critical right now. There's so many jobs in the market, but obviously you have to prove to them that you can handle their thousands of dollars of investment. So that's why you need to gather those skills. Okay, other than that, what I normally say in day one is also some of the okay, see, I may be the only instructor who does slide configurations directly in the class. Okay, so here I also talk about some current in-demand courses, right? So then we go for in-demand. Did I say nine? Okay, in-demand courses, right? So that is something that we need to know. So now, if you say, or anyone asks me, hey teacher, if I go for Azure, after that will I get a very good job? No. See how I said no. So the thing is, it's always a combination of skills. It's never one job you get all one course and you get a job. It's whenever somebody asks that, I really answer a bit more strict to give a ground reality of stop thinking that way, that I do this 1-2 courses and I will get a job. Maybe you could if you have uncle in or some cousin or rich uncle there, but otherwise no, you must have combination of skills always. So my recommendation always is that first must have course is obviously Azure Practitioner. If you're a beginner and administrator is too much for you, Azure Practitioner is a start. But if you have gone through an Azure Administrator course once, then Azure Practitioner would be a piece of cake for you, right? So Azure Practitioner is for beginners. I would suggest if you're too beginner, so you can go for Practitioner. But if you've gone through this course, then any other Azure course, maybe if you worked hard enough, it will be easy for you. When I say easy, don't take it as literally as easy. Nothing is easy. Jobs are not there for easy stuff. Easy stuff anyone can do. Jobs are there for tough stuff. Job announcements come when they can't find a person for doing something tough, right? So Azure practitioner, Azure administrator, um, Azure, I didn't mention that, Azure architect. This is AZ 103, 104. After Azure 104, this is also important. So my recommended combination normally is Azure Administrator, Azure Security, and Azure Architect. If these three are in your resume, nowadays that's a very, very good combination. Azure Security, so two of them we're covering because Azure Architect is design, and this is important because the companies do create projects where they need to have a design expert. That can you tell me how many networks in Azure we should have, how many virtual machines, databases we should have there, how many file servers, and how many of the other storage related and network related configurations we should have for our particular company requirement. So Azure architects are supposed to mention that. Anyway, that's must-have would be, practitioner is a good, but it's not actually a must-have. But the others are must-have. So it's good to have. Then there is Microsoft 365 with older name is Office 365, right? And those are Exchange Online must-have. I mean, every company has every company's backbone of business is emails. So how to really maintain with the compliant configurations, so their emails, and how to secure them. So there's a lot of tasks for Exchange Online, a lot of skills that you need to learn, and it's pretty critical in the market. Teams Online for meetings and conferences, which is also nearly a daily event that's happening in the company. So you need to know that. SharePoint Online is becoming as important, and then Azure Active Directory, which is covered by Azure Administrator, Azure Architect, Azure Security as well. So Azure Active Directory. This will be obviously covered here as well in this course. So this is the second must-have. This is a combination must-have. Now, if you go for at least minimum, these two guys, right? And here, if you are done with these two are critical, right? And then it's always a game of multi-vendor as well. You need to make sure that you have at least at AWS Solutions Architect Associate. Associate itself is tough. AWS also has the beginner or practitioner exam. At least minimum give that to put the logo of AWS on your resume. But obviously for quality, better go for AWS Solutions Architect Associate. It's a tough one in terms of exam. It's a tough one in terms of all the labs and skills that you need to learn. So SAA-CO2, right? And then if it's a vendor neutral security course that you have done, so that's also a must-have. When it comes to vendor neutral security, so either CISSP, CEH, this would be WOW, big WOW if you're CEH, CISSP, and there are many other certifications. One of the vendor neutral security certification. This is in security. And then there is must-have number 5, I think, is minimum do CCNA. If you haven't done that, go for it as soon as possible, because networking concepts from Cisco would really help a lot anywhere in the cloud environment. So CCNA, if you have done CCNP, CCIE, that's a wow. Otherwise, CCNA is a must-have. And then I always say ITIL because companies do want you to know how do you properly do a change management. So ITIL is really important as well. That tells you how to run an IT department, especially how to do change management, how to properly make changes, document them, have plan B and plan C in place, right? So yeah, Mazhar says there in the chat, identity slash AD, exactly. When you say AD or Active Directory, so Azure Administrator covers pretty much a lot of Azure Active Directory. Plus, here there is MS 101, Microsoft MS 100 and MS 101 is, so you're right, Manzar, it's MS 100 slash 101 are the identity exams. If you want to separately give in context of Microsoft 365 or Office 365, these are the certifications which go for identity. But Azure Administrator, if you give, so Azure Active Directory, which is the center of identity, that is covered a lot. That is covered in depth in terms of identity in Azure Administrator course. So Azure security then goes further about obviously the security aspects of the Azure environment. So there is that must-have courses that there's ITIL. Actually, there's if you've done PMP, that's then you don't just remain as just a technical expert or maybe senior administrator. You go through the corporate ladders to director and to senior management as well. If you have project management experience, agile, so if you go through those certifications, these are must-have. Now I do realize in my current job, it's the mechanism of implementing configurations, that is so important to show in the resume as well, and do a study of. So that's why ITIL based questions come in the interview as well. From the aspect of ITIL, how would you implement configurations in our environment? So that question once was thrown at me and I was like, whoa, okay, thank God I studied some of the ITIL there or I remembered at that time. So otherwise these are good for mechanisms of implementing security configurations, storage configurations, network configurations. So what is the mechanism? That also is equally important. How do you really take the team with you and implement the whole mechanism of under the big configurations that affect thousands of users, or that can really impact the budget of the company if you have not gone through some kind of mechanism, secure mechanism to implement configurations, critical configurations data. So Ethernet, oh okay, seriously. So yeah, there was a comment in Urdu. So yeah, the thing is that guys, why I'm saying all this, the importance of this is for you to know that it's a combination of skills that may get you better jobs sooner, right? And it's also a plan. I call it, and I should start writing that as well. The plan, right? So do you have a plan for next one and a half year? Where do you want to be in next 1.5 year? You need to be earning minimum 25 per hour, 30 per hour, 40 per hour, 45 per hour, 50 per hour in next 1.5 year. Start thinking like that. Okay, oh, if I want to get 30 per hour, 40 per hour, really, in 1.5 year, are you kidding? Well, it's not a myth, it's not impossible, but if you, and I'm not saying something that may be a story. I've seen this happening so many times in different colleges. that now I don't think this is a myth anymore, or this is a story anymore. So many students with sheer hard work followed the plan, put all these courses with skills, with proper concepts in their mind, repeated labs 2 or 3 times minimum, and within 1.5 years, some of them are now contractors, which were beginners before the plan. Now they are contractors, and some of them actually are telling me, hey sir, I've done this and this and this, and I'm asking, oh seriously, you did this? How did you do that? And I'm asking them, and they're teaching me now. They're my teachers. So the thing is, if you have a plan, and if you've given yourself a target, and you are willing to work 8 hours daily, 10 hours daily, 4 hours daily, but you're consistent and you're really hardworking. You've repeated twice all the labs. You've understood the concepts, and you followed the plan. You can just make any editing, any changes on for yourself as well. But in 1.5 years to 2 years, you should be getting a good job. Then the thing is, how do you perform an interview? Okay, so I've seen that happening so many times that I'm saying, if you have a plan and if you are willing to work hard and give the effort, yes, a good paying job is not far from you, right? I've seen this happening with beginners multiple times now. So any kind of excuse is no excuse. I don't buy that anymore. Okay. Then Mohsen says, which one should start after AZ104 and AZ105? Yes, which one after that? Guys, my suggestion, get familiar with Exchange Online, Teams Online, ASAP. Because email is the backbone of every company, and meetings and conferences happen every day. When you know Exchange Online, that's part of the suite of Microsoft 365 or Office 365. So if you know this, they expect you to automatically know this, because they're integrated, and this, well, and this. But this is, you're going to be covered very well here in Azure Administrator course. You will be covered with this guy. But automatically, minimum, you must know these two. So after this, I'm also planning to launch these two. After this is finishing, then you would have covered this already, but we will be covering that there as well, because it's equally important there as well with these two, Exchange Online, Teams Online. Okay, so oh yeah, Mohsen says, sir, what about 740, 741? Ouch. Okay, why did I say ouch for MCSA? So first of all, those exams are retired. Second thing, the skills are still important. Why? When you know how to install Windows and you know the Windows Server environment, the skills you learn from there, you put in your resume. Those are the older skills. And right now, one more thing I need to tell you in the market is what I experienced, right? It could be different for you, right? So that if you have infrastructure experience, if you know the older technology and then the newer technology, and you're not a fresher, like you just know this new one, but you don't know the old one. If you know the older and the newer, they prefer them more than those in the market who just know today's technology and not the older one. That's just something that is natural. You know more, older. This means you have experience of older plus newer technology. Then when the newest technology comes, then today's technology will go to the newest one. So you know that how you adopted from older to newer, then you would have adopted easily the newest from newer as well. So they just want to know, because software comes so fast, changes come so fast, do you really adopt to those changes? In IT, you have to. There's no other choice. You learn it or you lose the job, right? So that's why the thing is that 740, 741, if you have time and you're doing that, finish it properly, understand it properly, and then start working on this plan, right? Okay, so I may be missing one or two. Oh yes, Linux. Actually, the thing is, wherever if you have if you land in a company that is a Microsoft shop. I landed in a company which is a Microsoft shop, right? Before I was in a Microsoft shop company. Microsoft shop means everything Microsoft. But if you land in a company where there's Microsoft plus Linux, so good to have is Linux. Uh, its certification is RHCSA, and then its next certification is RHCSE. If you know Linux, that's really really good. Many companies would want to, basics of Linux, basics of ITIL, Ccna must have. Security, at least one certification. Azure security or vendor neutral security. One of the security, one of the mechanisms related trainings, one of the OS, and the rest is all cloud. Uh, then good to have. I would just for your knowledge is, and that really this certification, Google did I say Google Drive? Seriously, GCP, Google Cloud Platform. This was not that important till 2019. In 2020, this certification was the top one. Why? Because it's talking about containers and Kubernetes. Yeah, it's all Martian language, but this is a reality. They have containers and Kubernetes. They are the experts in that. They are the pioneers of Kubernetes, Google Cloud, GCP. So 2022, 2020, 2021, this certification went sky high. On 2020, 2021, Google Cloud Platform is going sky high. The more, at least, why I'm saying all this, you don't have to right away be expert of all. Give it time. I say the plan, and I give you, always put a deadline with your plan, right? So 1.5 year. Okay, it's not even clear. So 1.5 year. So in demand courses, the plan 1.5 year is your target. 1 year ambitious, 2 year cautious. So the thing is, it's you need to go through the plan at least in 1.5 year. You must go through all these courses. Go for the must-haves right away, and good to have should be on your resume mentioned that I know containers and Kubernetes. I have gone through Google Cloud Platform. You need those videos. It's really cheap. I'm offering there that course that we covered. But at least to put in your resume, you can just go through that course and put some points there in your resume that I know Google Cloud Platform, right? Yeah, the 18 months plan. So okay, that is also there, 18 months plan. So yeah, 1.5 year or 18 months. Yeah, so you can just type that too. 1.5 year. Okay, so so the thing is that it's a 18 months plan. But if you have a plan and you're willing to work hard, you're willing to give resources, you're willing to invest on it, then yes, a good job is waiting for you. It's not like a empty promise. You really worked hard. You prepared for the interview. You did all the labs again, and again, and you understand all the concepts because you've done the labs multiple times. Yes, the concept will ultimately be clear. So it's all pure, sheer hard work. Hard work, repeat, repeat, repeat. Then, yes, it's an 18-month plan to get a 30 per hour job or 35 per hour job. So just ask yourself, do you have a plan? Do you have a better plan? Go for that. If not, this is your plan. Start from today. Put this, print it, put it on your wall, and then give a timeline. Okay, next 3 months, 2 certifications, Azure Administrator, Azure Security, and the other 3 months. Then Microsoft 365, Exchange Online, Teams Online, SharePoint Online, not SharePoint, Exchange Online, Teams Online, right? And then 2 months, AWS Solutions Architect. And then a month or 2 months, CCNA, and then 1 month ITIL, PMP. And good to have, so you can then go for that. So print it, put it on your wall, and start it. If you have a better plan, if you want to make changes, go ahead, but put a date there and then start the efforts, right? Okay, so this is something that is always important to understand, that where does this particular set of two-in-one, so two courses, stand. You need to know these two courses, yes, with other skills to get a 30 per hour, 45 per hour, 50 per hour job. It's happening, people are getting it. Your sheer hard work, your consistency, and your determination, dedication is required, right? Okay, so Mohsin says also we need to do all certifications, or training is enough. Training is good, and put it in your resume. If you're lagging behind certifications, better to do certifications, because that catches attention right away. Either your experience catches attention, or training plus certifications catches attention. If both are there, that's a wow. But if vast experience is not there, better put it some catchy things. So whatever you did in the course, the main topics there, the main skills, names there, plus the certifications will be catching recruiters' attention then. So either vast experience or certifications plus training. Certifications, yes, it is important. Yeah, so my resume was caught because of the experience. Although I had certifications, and I'm a bit slow in doing newer certifications, but still, the experience just got me there. That's God fearing that. Anyway, so anyway, guys, here, this is the plan. Let's go ahead, right? Any questions, anytime you can ask, and you can just I'll just reply to any questions. There are questions coming in the chat, and you want to come on mic and ask questions, yes, and then mute the mic after that. Okay, so anyway, this is the plan, and it's always a combination of skills that you really need, and just check yourself which you did, which you did not. Better go for certifications if you don't have vast experience, right? Okay, now let's go ahead, and at the end of the course, do let me know about your resume as well. You need to mention the critical technologies that we will learn here. You need to mention them as soon as you learn. You have a clear concept of that. You've done the labs twice minimum. You put it on your resume as well, right? So I used to do that. I used to learn new thing, and then I would just put in the resume. So my resume was updated with whatever I know today, right? Till today. Okay, let's go ahead, guys. And if there are any questions, let me know. And the thing is, I will be reminding you, it's sheer hard work that will get you the confidence to talk comfortably about tough technologies in the interview. And the more comfortable you are in the interview talking tough technologies, the better your chances to get a 30, 40, 50 per hour job, right? So if if you have those concepts there, if you really think that, yes, this is the way to go, then you should be ready to do real hard work. So no pains, no gains, right? Go through that pain of repeating the labs, then you get confidence. Okay, so there's that Azure maximums and minimums I mentioned there, but before that, I haven't even talked about Azure course there. And then what is the lab readiness we need to achieve? So what do we need for the lab? So that we're going to talk about as well. So this is not exactly what I was going to talk about. So it's Azure AZ104 course and Azure maximums and minimums, right? So it's going to be like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead with by first discussing what's in the course and why is it so important. So I'm going to click this link. I'm going to put that in the chat as well. Also, throughout the course, what is LMS that we're going to be using, and are we connecting to my Teams application, and what I'm going to be offering. I'm going to be adding you as guests in the Teams and in the OneNote, so I could share all the course material there. And the more you use Teams and Exchange and Office 365, the better. But this is the client side, of course. You need to know the admin side. Okay, I'm just gonna click this now to go to the AZ104 topics. Okay, so that was not it. Anyway, I had already opened it. So I'm just gonna put that here as well. Okay, Amir says, if you would be teaching, yes. Yeah, so the start of the slide, it starts like this: Microsoft Azure Administrator AZ104 and AZ500 Azure Security. So yes, I'll be teaching AZ500 as well, which is Azure Security. Okay, let's go ahead and you're welcome. So now, AZ104, Microsoft Azure Administrator, and that is that's the page, and they say that this content of this the content of this exam was updated on May 25. So that's recent changes that they have added there. So that's good, because the Azure is changing pretty much every week. They have new features coming so fast that it's hard to catch up. So obviously the updated exam and updated exam objectives to be implemented, to be followed up here as well in the course. So this is the page that I put there in the WhatsApp, and also, oh yes, the class group. I have a class group. I'll just put in the class group as well, so then you can see that too. Okay, here AZ104, and this is $165 US dollars, that is, that you will be paying to give the exam. But there are some discount sites as well on the internet. So yeah, there's, I think, exam voucher, exam-voucher.com. That is a site where there are sometimes half-price vouchers come up sometimes. So from time to time they give vouchers that you need to use within 1 week or within 3-4 days, that you can use that voucher. So that's why they are very cheap. So the thing is that you can get vouchers from, you can Google it as well. There are so many which are offering discounts. Okay, so you can give the exam in Pearson View. Oh, Mansoor says he has options. So you can talk to Mansoor Hussain here in our class. He can also give you an idea about vouchers. Okay, so here's a schedule for limited time offer for job seekers impacted by COVID-19 and students. Wow, see this? Limited impacted by, so learn about our commitment to support people. Schedule for $15? Are you kidding me? Guys, are you on that page? Instead of giving $165, you can be eligible to give the exam in $15 US. Go for it. Okay, so you got the link here. So anyway, if you're impacted by COVID-19, and then you can give it in only $15. Man, just do it now. Okay, then official practice test for Microsoft Azure Administrator. All objectives of the exam are covered in depth, so you'll be ready for any question on the exam. Really? Okay, official practice test. That's also a very good resource. So they've really given a lot of good resource, although I'll be offering latest questions, latest service as well. But this page is really important for you to give the exam. Okay, so Mansoor says you can do only one exam with this, any one Microsoft exam. My suggestion, if you can, yes, go for AZ104. That's the most critical one. Go for $15, this exam, right? So, okay. Anyway, let's go for the skills being measured. What are the topics there? Then we're going to go for AZ500 topics as well. What are the topics there as well? And then what you need to prepare for the lab for the next Saturday. And we will start the class. And I'll take all your questions and explain. Yeah, it's $15. It's a big wow. Okay. Yeah. So the content of this exam was updated on May 25. Manage Azure Identities and Governance. That's a long list of labs. And so this is all about identities and governance that first of all, your user account gets created there, and then what permissions need to be given, what roles need to be given, what licenses need to be given. It's all about permissions here. Licenses are normally in Microsoft 365, Office 365 here. And then there is governance. So who gets the admin rights for how long? And will there be a review, yearly review or monthly review? So that's all about governance, that less amount of time need to be given to a user to be on the higher privileges, and so that's why we're going to learn about identities and governance. Okay, Ari says, what is the duration of AZ104? Well, it's a 10-hour course, and 4 or 5 Saturdays there, and then AZ500 will start. Okay. But the good thing is that you need to refresh, if you have already known that. You need to refresh what Azure newer technologies are, new features are, to secure them. Security also has updated because of AZ104 newer labs and technologies, right? So it's always a good idea to refresh that. What is the base environment, and then how to secure them. Okay, so, and there, implement and manage storage. So obviously, the companies would know how to, upload all the critical data to their storage. But what are the security and high availability and disaster recovery technologies related to storage? We need to learn that. So storage for corporates, that is. So they have a very long list of features there for storage. Deploy and manage Azure compute resources. That's your virtual machine. So how to deploy virtual machines? But deploying a virtual machine, creating a virtual machine may be not a big deal, right? It's just that it's going to be all the features, all the high availability, disaster recovery, business continuity features that really make it really special to create virtual machines there. And then there is configure and manage virtual networking. So obviously networking is part of your Azure environment. Azure environment is a full data center, right? You're pretty much learning about a data center, a virtual data center here, right? AWS Solutions Architect Associate is also virtual data center of Amazon Web Services, or Amazon, and this is the virtual data center of Microsoft Azure, right? So that's why networking, storage, virtual machines, storage, and then security of that is always a major concern in a typical data center. And then there is monitor and backup Azure resources. So obviously that is monitoring and backing up Azure resources. So that these are just the percentage of questions that will come in the exam. And then there is download skills. There's 2 ways to prepare: online, free. So there's online free as well. If that would have worked for your course, then there wouldn't have been so many colleges and universities and videos there. So yes, they give nice basic basic kind of structure here for you in the online free, obviously, but and then there's instructor led. That's just a few $1,000s. So the thing is, I'm just gonna click that download exam skills outline, right? Download exam skills outline. I'll click that, and that's the one that you need to check out as well. I'll just put that link here, and I'll put the link here in WhatsApp as well, the class WhatsApp group. So those who haven't joined the WhatsApp group, I'll just put the shared WhatsApp joining link as well. Okay, so audience profile: candidates for this exam should have a subject matter expertise implementing, managing, and monitoring. So they're just saying that you should already have some experience on Azure to give this exam. And if you don't have that experience, then don't give the exam. That's what they say. But the reality is that if you go to get experience by asking to have a job. So they say, oh, did you get certified? And so that's how it is. It's a loop. And okay, so yeah, enjoy on the WhatsApp class group. There is enjoy your own private paradise. You can rent a floating bar at Wasaga Beach this summer, and it's like a trip to the tropics. Okay, thank you, Atul. So that's a good thing. Okay, let's just get back to what we were doing. Yeah, so skills measured. Now there's manage Azure identities and governance. So first I'm gonna just look, have a peek on the whole document here. The exam guide below shows the changes that were implemented on May 25. So above this red line is what the older exam objectives are, and below the red line is the changes that they are saying. So I would start below that red line here with the changed ones. So manage Azure Identities and Governance has Azure Active Directory. Obviously, we're going to go in depth with Azure Active Directory there. We will not be able to do all the topic labs. Some of the topics are not doable or are so long that they will alone take 2 or 3 classes of their own. So wherever it's doable, majority of them are doable, so I'm going to be doing the labs. Wherever there's theory, so I will be explaining the concept with diagrams. But majority are labs. So create users and groups, how to create users, create administrative units. I'm going to talk about that. This is just your jurisdiction of where you, whatever privileges you have been given. So what is your scope of implementing those privileges? Manage user and groups properties, device settings, bulk user updates, Azure AD join, guest accounts, self-service password reset. So all these are the topics there. Then RBAC or role-based access control. This is just to give custom roles to the users. And then there is governance, that Azure policies, resource locks. That this governance is all about that you need. Suppose you're given highest privilege, global admin privileges, administrator privilege, right? So how long you should be having those privileges, and when to take away privileges from you. So it's governance of the higher privileges. Then also it goes for managed costs and subscriptions, resource groups. Then comes the storage. In the storage, you see secure storage. And secure storage oh, okay. Hey, Atul removed it. That's not fair. Okay, he put it on the wrong group. So, okay, he says that. I wanted to know what it, so I'll ask him later. On Masaka Beach floating platform, really? How much is it? Okay, anyway, so let's just go ahead with this. The storage. So SaaS tokens here, and so it's a shared access signature. Now for storage, I told you that there are a long list of features there. So there's a lot of features that we will be doing the labs for. Network access to storage accounts, configure storage accounts, shared access signature. This is just to say, SaaS just means here that you want to give anyone access to your storage, then you want to put some restrictions when you're doing that. So that's it. Right? And then there is managed storage, Azure Job, Azure Storage Explorer, AZ Copy to copy any of the stuff, storage replication, object replication. Then there is Blob Storage, so that's configure Azure files, create an Azure file share, create and configure Azure file sync service, Blob Storage. So Blob is binary large object, which is again the storage which not only uses capacity but also uses IOPS, input output data per second. How much you're reading from the storage, how much you're writing to the storage, right? So that's blob storage just means that you're going to aggressively use the storage in terms of reading and writing as well, right? And in terms of capacity, obviously you can expand storage to 25 terabyte, 100 terabyte, and pay for it, right? So, but there are so many other high availability features there, cross-region replication and other features, lifecycle management, storage tiers, a lot of features there. That's what we're going to talk about and do the labs for. Then there is deploy and manage Azure compute resources. So automate deployment of virtual machines, VMs, by using Azure Resource Manager templates. Modify an Azure Resource Manager template. So what is a resource manager? And then what is VHD, which is a virtual hard disk for a virtual machine, and how to deploy virtual machines there. Configure VMs, how to configure disk encryption, virtual machine sizes, networking of virtual machine, disks of virtual machine. There's a lot. When we create a virtual machine, there's a lot of features coming your way, lot of features. And what is the reason for every feature? Why do we select one over the other? What's the design for that? Best design for implementing the features, for what kind of scenario, what features to implement. So we're going to talk about all that with diagrams, and then we're going to do the labs. Create and configure containers. So that's a bigger portion now. It used to be a smaller portion before, but they have increased the footprint of containers. So containers are light. They're not virtual machines. They work like them, but they're not virtual machines. Containers normally isolate the application environment. Suppose you want to deploy an easy way to teach or explain that would be that if you have a virtual machine here and the boss says, hey, why don't you install here AutoCAD? Okay, you install AutoCAD, and then the boss says, why don't you install here Visual Studio as well? Now Visual Studio is a big application, AutoCAD is a big application. You must have known that, okay, if you install one big application, now you're installing another big application on the same machine. So it might say that, okay, there's a file that you need to delete, and then I will install, but that file belongs to this application. If you delete that file, this application will be affected. So what happens is that a container actually just offers one application its own secure environment. So suppose you were on a virtual machine with a Docker software deployed inside. If you wanted to install, suppose this is an OS in a virtual machine. It's not suppose, there is. Actually there is. So, and then there is a Docker software that is always a requirement of containers. If that software is installed on OS, and then you install one container that has AutoCAD and the other container just which is Visual Studio. So in that case, you will be able to deploy two different applications with different consistency, with different their dependencies. You can deploy different applications on one platform because of containers. But that's just to understand, it's pretty huge. The containerization is pretty huge, especially when it comes to Kubernetes. So yes, the pioneers of containerization and Kubernetes is Google Cloud, but obviously because the companies are moving towards containers and Kubernetes, so that's why it is. So that's why AWS and Azure have to offer. Whoever is offering cloud has to offer this containerization as well, right? So what happens is, okay, Manzur says, what is Docker? Docker is that software on top of which you can deploy containers. If you try to deploy a container directly in on an operating system, so it's not going to work. It's going to give you errors. You have to deploy a Docker in order to deploy a container. So when you deploy, if you're able to deploy a container in Azure, they already have a Docker underlying environment, already has a Docker installed there. So that's why containers there. Containers can get deployed. Kubernetes, the purpose of Kubernetes is, so suppose your company has one container, okay, AutoCAD, or maybe 10 containers have high availability of AutoCAD, which means that if AutoCAD is installed in all these and this one goes down, so these will let the users connect there. So suppose you have 10 containers of AutoCAD or 2 containers of Visual Studio. It's a big application actually, so 5 containers of Visual Studio and 2 containers of file server here, but it's few containers, so you can directly connect to them and then handle them. But maybe suppose it's a big companies and you have actually 10,000 containers. So in that case, 10,000 containers, you would need an orchestration software, and you need Kubernetes orchestration software that can handle 10,000 containers or 100,000 containers together. So Kubernetes is used when you are deploying thousands of containers. If you are deploying 1 or 2, 10 or 20 containers, you do not need Kubernetes for that. Large scale management of containers, then you need Kubernetes, right? So we're going to go through creating containers there. Microsoft AWS have really made it easy for us to create containers directly, because we don't have to deploy Docker ourselves. If you've gone through my older MCSA courses in Windows Server 2016, we deployed on top of Windows Server 2016, we deployed Docker, then we deployed container on top of that. It was all quite tricky because it's all command line interface. So the thing is that that all need not be done, because underlying platform has Docker already installed. You just deploy container directly. Anyway, container topic is there. That is a newer topic in AZ104, and it has a full section there. Before it was just 1 or 2 lines mentioned in previous exams. So create and configure Azure App Service. So App Service plan is just that you want to deploy apps securely, and you want to disallow users to be able to add apps themselves. Then you go for App Service plan. Networking side, there's implement and manage virtual networking, and there is virtual networks including peer, configure private and public IP addresses, configure user-defined network routes, subnets. So we're going to be deploying all that. Subnet endpoints, private endpoints, what are those? And then Azure DNS, including custom DNS and public DNS zones. So I'm going to be showing you, just like if you have used some dynamic DNS or open DNS, so there's Azure DNS as well. AWS also has a DNS there. Then there is virtual networks, security rules for that. What is network security group? This is just like a firewall you attach to your subnet and to your virtual machines as well. And then there's effective security rules. What is Azure Firewall and what is Azure Bastion? So you'll get to know that soon. But with Azure Bastion, overall, you do not need to give your virtual machines a public IP anymore. PIP is public IP, right? You don't need to give PIP or public IP to your virtual machines. When Azure Bastion is configured, what happens is that you create a full subnet, right? And you give this, okay, I need to remove PIP. So you create a full subnet here, right? And you give this subnet a public IP. This whole subnet gets one public IP, and it's all secured as well. So then inside the subnet, all virtual machines that you create will only have private IP. So this means that if you don't have to give virtual machines a public IP, then they are more secure. If each virtual machine has a public IP, obviously they are not that secure, right? So it's like if every machine has public IP, obviously if the hackers know public IP, they have all kinds of tools to attack. Although Microsoft has very good security there as well, you can put firewall in front of that as well. 3 layers of security are there. But the thing is, even that possibility of having a public IP virtual machine can be removed when you have private IP, and then you can connect to the virtual machines from within the browser. You don't have to use really a remote desktop to connect to the virtual machine. So we're going to try both. First we're going to try with public IP, then we're going to try with private IP as well. How to configure all this. And then there is configure load balancing. So obviously that's also a critical lab. So we're going to be doing a load balancing lab for the virtual machines as well. Monitor and troubleshoot virtual networking, monitor on-premises connectivity, and configure and use monitor. That's it. So monitor, Azure Monitor. Azure Monitor is a one-stop monitoring app or service that monitors pretty much all the storage, virtual machines, networking. Network Watcher is just another service that monitors the net bandwidth and networking components. External networking, virtual network connectivity, troubleshoot. So all this is there. Then comes the VPN. Seriously, okay. So okay, VPN Gateway. So express route. What is VPN Gateway? Obviously, you can connect through your environment from your home with IPsec protocol security there to through the VPN tunnel to your Azure environment. So we did that VPN lab in AWS last year. So that was pretty long, and it's very interesting. Express route is that you want to actually have a lease line from your data center to Azure, nearest Azure data centers. So we're going to learn about that, and then what is virtual WAN as well, just like SD-WAN. So then there is separately Azure Monitor again they are mentioning, which they have mentioned above as well. Backup and recovery is the final one, and that is the recovery sources vault. This is the most important, well, one of the most important ones. So create a recovery sources vault. What is a vault? In the vault, you create backups, right, for the virtual machines. And then there, what is the backup policy? Backup and restore operations by Azure Backup. Then what is ASR, which is Azure Site Recovery, and perform site-to-site recovery by using Azure Site Recovery. And then there is review backup report. So backup and site recovery are the topics here then. Okay, so that's about AZ104, all the topics there, and pretty extensive it's going to be, and it can take more time as well. So obviously I concentrate on labs. About labs, guys, I'm going to be saying that later as well, since I talked about talking about labs. So there are two ways to go ahead with this course. One is that those who are fast can follow me with me during the lab, and wherever you're stuck, I can help you T-shoot for 3 to 5 minutes. But then I would request that let me finish the whole topic and finish the lab, and because I'm going to be recording that as well, so you will get the recording, and you can throughout the week you can follow up with the lab, and you can have my help wherever you are stuck by putting the message on WhatsApp. Hey, teach, I'm stuck in this. What to do here? You share the screenshot, and then I can just let you know. Okay, do this, and you're good. So yeah, guys, again, the thing is, this is a critical course. This is in pretty much all majority of the job announcements that they ask, and you need to really work hard. It's for any course that you work hard, you get the rewards, you reap the rewards. But obviously, this is where you get started. If you haven't done this course, then this is really important to understand. Okay, so we have talked about the topic of topics of AZ104, and then we're going to talk about the topics of AZ500 as well. AZ-500. So yeah, it says that the content of this exam was updated on June 2. Wow, that was recent, 3 days ago. They just updated it now. June 2, the content was updated, so that's good. We're at the right time starting the course. And AZ500 Microsoft Azure Security. This also has an offer of $15. I think now I see there. Orang says, what is the difference between Docker and container? Yeah, so Docker and container is that if you want to deploy a container, it has to have a familiar platform under it to be deployed. So suppose you have operating system Windows 16 here, and Windows 16, on top of that you want to deploy a virtual, suppose first of all you want to deploy a virtual machine. So what do? We deploy Hyper-V first, and then we deploy our virtual machine on top of that, right? So that is the same with the. This is 16. Okay, that's the same as well. That if you go for, suppose, easy example of, you have OS Windows Server 2016 here as well, and you want to deploy container now. So you have to deploy our Docker software on top of that in order to deploy as many containers as you want, right? So, but the good thing here in Azure, well, and in AWS and in Google Cloud and in Oracle Cloud and Alibaba Cloud and all the clouds, is that they already provide Docker. We don't need to deploy in cloud first the Docker platform in order to deploy containers on top of it, right? So Docker is just the underlying platform that the containers need to run. There are other ways as well, but this is the most popular, famous, most adopted way to deploy containers. All right. Okay, if we go to the AZ500, so this is the page for that. I'll just copy that here. Hey, that was a good deal, though. The Osaka Beach. Okay, anyway, seriously, I'm still stuck with that. So I'm just going to put that here, AZ500. Okay, here, I'm going to go down to this. So it says here, the contents of the exam was updated on June 2, yeah, and manage identity and access, implement platform protection. So we need to understand first the platform in order to protect it. And manage security operations, secure data and applications. So that's pretty straightforward security mechanisms that we need to understand. I'm going to click that download exam skills outline here. Okay, so I'm going to go towards the red line where the changes are, because the new exam objectives will reflect those changes. So I'm just going to go down, down, down. And this is the line there. The exam guide below shows the changes that were implemented on June 2. So that's, I'm going to go down here, skills measured. So here, manage Azure Active Directory identities. Now, this is talking about then the service principles. When we talk about Azure Active Directory, so pretty much we'll be covering groups there, users there, administrative units there as well, password write back, and methods including password hash and pass-through. Some of the concepts will be there as well. Authentication, PTA, OAuth, passwordless. Now this is obviously we're not going to discuss in Azure administrator, but we're going to be discussing here in Azure security, and transfer Azure subscriptions between Azure AD tenants. So this is also we're going to discuss here and do the lab. So monitor privileged access for Azure AD privileged identity management, PIM. Now PIM is a topic in AZ 104 as well, and so some of the topics of security we'll be covering in AZ 104, but there are many that we will be covering only in security, obviously. So privileged identity management, the main purpose of privileged identity management, as the word says, management of privileged identity. If you've been given a privilege of global administrator or database administrator or backup administrator or billing administrator, so we need to manage how long you should get it and what kind of permissions or what kind of resources you should be able to access other than what you already have according to this privilege. So managing the privileges is called PIM, or privileged identity management. Then there are access reviews. As the word says, pretty much you review the access of all the privileged users. You made one user a billing administrator. Does that user still supposed to have that privileged role, or should we remove it after 6 months? So you want to put a review after 6 months, you want to put a review after 1 year. So it's all about that. This is also we're going to cover in AZ104. So whatever we cover in AZ104, it's we will it will already have been covered. So I will just do a refresher when we are going for AZ500 security, right? Configure PIM, and that is yes, obviously we need to configure that as well. So implement conditional access. Now either I will do that in AZ104 or I will remind you that okay, we're going to be doing that in AZ security, because when we're talking about security in the security course, it's better to do the labs of security then, right? If I was just only covering AZ104, then I would have covered this. If it was written there, yes, I would have covered this. Actually, I didn't see that written there, right? So normally it comes in the governance topic, but the labs are actually in Azure security. But when we are covering Azure Active Directory, so it does come to us. So that at that time I will give a brief introduction to that, but we will cover the whole lab in Azure security because that's part of the Azure security. So I don't have to do that lab in AZ104. If alone it was there, then I normally do that. Okay, implement conditional access policies, including what about GPO? So yeah, if group policy objects is coming in Azure Active Directory, then we will cover there. If it is coming here, then we will cover here. So okay, here MFA, how do you implement multi-factor authentication? This is again, conditional access is a long topic. Very important. Conditional access just means that you get access, but with conditions, right? What does that mean? That means that if you are connecting to, suppose, our critical virtual machines, so the first condition is that you must have multi-factor authentication. Second condition is that your public IP, you're only allowed to connect from that particular public IP. Suppose you're connecting from home, so your home DSL public IP you need to give to administrator, and the administrator will add it there, and then you can only access, otherwise you can't access. So conditional access is that there are many long list of conditions there actually. So I'm just giving an example of the conditional access. So and multi-factor authentication, and then Azure AD identity protection. So that's another topic. Then there is create app registration permission scopes, app registration permission consent. So what is app registration? Obviously, when you suppose you go for third-party applications there, you are adding Oracle SQL Server, suppose, right? So is that app registered to Azure, and is that registration, and you have enabled all the security options for that particular app there. So it's going to be there. Microsoft is offering more than 3,500 applications of the mainstream vendors across the planet, like Adobe, WinZip, and Oracle, and SAP, and there's a very, very long list of vendors that have their third-party applications there that you can attach to your Azure subscription. So manage access control, configure subscription and resource permissions, configure resource group permissions, RBAC roles. So this is all about you want to give anyone access to Azure resources. So how do you give that? Where do you go for that? So we're going to be covering the security of virtual machines. We're going to be covering the security of storage. We're going to be covering security of network of Azure, and obviously the user's environment. So then comes implement advanced network security. So it says here, secure the connectivity of virtual networks with VPN, express route encryption. Then there is NSGs. We're going to talk about that. We have to if you want to create a network. So it will be covered in AZ104, and application security groups, ASGs. Then there is, so network security group is used for as a firewall for virtual machines and subnet, right? So we found no access on PC. Yay. Okay. Anyway, so and then also it's asking for Azure Firewall. Now this is a big topic, and this we will be then covering in detail. Azure Firewall Manager. This is what we're not obviously covering in AZ104. This is purely security topics. Azure Firewall Manager, that's a big one actually. Azure Front Door Service as an application gateway. So it also has security features for applications. And then Web Application Firewall, WAF. So Firewall Manager, Front Door, and WAF. These three are all security applications or security mechanisms there for your applications. Okay, so Jay says we use conditional access at work for location login, and it works well for security. Exactly, you're right, Jay. So conditional access is really critical, and there's actually a lot of features there. So that's very good to know that you're already using conditional access there in your job environment. And then there is Azure Bastion. Now I have mentioned Bastion already, that this is a good security layer that on top of virtual machines, where you don't need to give virtual machines public IP, you can just give them private IP if you configure Azure Bastion. So we're going to be configuring that. Then comes some more serious stuff here. Configure firewall on storage account, Azure SQL, Key Vault, or app service. So how do you configure firewall for your SQL server or for your Key Vault? Key Vault is obviously when you're putting your encryption, decryption keys in the vault. So you're using the vault, Key Vault, to retrieve the keys from there. So then there is implement service endpoints. Service endpoints are just network, or the one network that you're connecting to, or one machine you're connecting to. And then there is distributed denial of service attacks, DDoS protection, implement DOS attacks. So other than that, so we're going to talk about that too, that they have two packages there. One is free basic, and the other one is paid. So what are the qualities of, what are the features of paid one? Configure endpoint protection, configure monitor system updates for virtual machines. Then there's endpoint protection, which is your virtual machines, your devices. But this is not really a MDM course. That really I was passionate to introduce, but 4 courses is something that I understand now that I can't afford time for. I won't be able to give that much time for 4 courses. Okay, anyway, so the thing is that I may launch the MDM course separately, just one MDM, which is Mobile Device Management Endpoint Manager Intune course, if there are enough students for that. That would be very, very critical. Nowadays, it's even more criticaler, right? Criticaler. Anyway, so configure endpoint protection, configure and monitor system updates for VMs, configure authentication for Azure containers. So not only obviously Azure Monitor is one service that we need to discuss in AZ104, but that is also going to be discussed in Azure Security. So if we have discussed in detail in AZ104, we're not going to discuss that in AZ Security because obviously it's pretty much the same service. But I will just do a refresher then. So system updates for VMs, configure authentication for Azure Container Registry. Now, whenever you see the word registry in a container, the concept behind that is that registry is just storage of containers. You want to save container files somewhere, so you save the containers in the registry, container registry. So it's not that registry file regedit regedit enter, and then the registry opens, registry hive opens, right? So this registry just means storage of containers. That's it, right? Simple. Okay. So authentication to the registry, and then security for different types of containers, security for different types of containers. So it goes messier with containers now. So that's very good. And vulnerability management, isolation of Azure Kubernetes services. The AKS is, there's ACR here, which is Azure Container Registry, and then there's AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service. Remember that Kubernetes is when you have thousands of containers, then you use Kubernetes. Otherwise, you have few containers, you don't need Kubernetes for that. Okay, so there's that security for container registry, and then Azure Disk Encryption. So we're going to do that with in Azure Security course, and configure authentication. So obviously you're going to encrypt the disk, although they offer default encryption already. But what are the extra encryption options there? And some dry and boring to death discussion about encryption as well, which should be actually interesting for you. But even administrators with years and years of experience, and they really want to learn it, when they start talking about and listening to encryption topics, it's like they're like like this. Oh man, seriously, whew, what did you just say in the last half an hour? Whew. Okay, so it's like that kind of topic. So welcome to that topic. Okay, anyway, it's just important, and we have to go through that. So the configure authentication and security for Azure App Service. So there is SSL and TLS. So secure socket layer and transport layer security certificates there. Configure authentication for Azure Kubernetes service, and then automatic updates. Now that becomes a bit of challenging. I really want to do labs of majority of the topics, but wherever it's not doable, so I try to explain that. But to implement first Kubernetes and then implement the authentication of that, so I'll try try my best to do that if it's doable with less million steps. Okay, and then there are automatic updates for Kubernetes and containerization. Azure Monitor. This is a full topic there in in Azure AZ104 as well. So, and then there's Azure Security Center. Yes, this is purely then obviously Security Center topic. Vulnerability scans. How do you do the scans? How do you read the scans? What is just in time? Just like Justin Trudeau and Justin Bieber. So there's just in time as well, right? So just in time is a very good feature where suppose you're a global administrator, you are the administrator of some virtual machine, you are the only responsible person there, but even you will be given maximum 3 hours to connect to that critical machine. You want to work some more, you will be disconnected, and at the end of the third hour, and then you will have to request, you will have to put you're the administrator, the request will go to you actually. So but you will have to put a reason why do you need to access that critical machine for the next 3 hours, right? So just in time is a very good feature, implementing that time restriction only even for the highest privileged accounts as well, right? And then there is centralized policy management by using Azure Security Center. So Azure Security Center is a long list of features there for security. So that would be very interesting to know. Compliance policies and evaluate for compliance by using Azure Security Center. So obviously there are some international compliance standards there. For European data usage, there are standards there. There are some other international. So does Azure comply with all the international standards? So suppose you are getting contract from some government, and the government says, "Oh, you need to be compliant with this international standards of security." So you can actually ask Microsoft, "Hey, Microsoft, I need to implement that international security standard in our Azure environment, to grab that contract from the government." So Microsoft can make available that international security standard mechanisms. You can just purchase that from Microsoft. Hey, I want that environment here, so can you give me that compliance environment there and the configurations that come with it? So Microsoft can say, okay, you can pay me this much, and yeah, I'll just make that environment available for you, and you can grab that contract from the government or whoever you want to get the contract from, right? So configure workflow automation by using Azure. So then there's automation as well. Azure Sentinel is another security service there for monitoring plus security. And then there is security policies, Azure Policy and Azure Blueprint. So they come up with so many fancy names there, and they have different purpose of security. So we're going to be talking about all that. Security storage, security for storage, right? So storage security is really critical. Although we'll be covering SaaS there with a lab, domain authentication for Azure Files, Azure AD authentication for Azure Storage. So, but whatever we cover there, we're just gonna do a refresher here, or I will say there in AZ104. Okay, we're gonna cover that in Azure Security. So let's go ahead. So I can we will cover here or there some of the common topics. Okay, so configure storage service encryption and Azure Defender for storage. So yeah, these are purely security topics we're going to talk about. Defender just goes for Azure Defender for storage, has a advanced threat protection ADP, and that offers detection of any vulnerability or hacking attempt or malware attacks, as well as it has some prevention mechanisms there as well. So we're going to try to check all those. Enable database authentication and enable database auditing, Azure Defender for SQL. So if you're a SQL guru, then it's interesting for you, but still we're going to create one SQL server, and then we're going to check out some of the things that we can do and some of the security features that we can discuss. If it requires more bigger SQL environment, then we'll discuss that. Then manage key vault, right? Manage access to key vault. What is key vault? It stores your encryption and decryption keys. Manage permissions to secrets, certificates, and keys. And then RBAC or role-based access control, privileged roles that you give to the key vault. Manage certificates, secrets, key rotation, and key vault items, and then configure Azure Defender key vault, Defender for key vault. So the thing is that there is security feature, and then there are security features for the security feature. Azure Defender for key vault. Key vault is also a security feature, right? So anyway, so the thing is that Azure Security has quite powerful topics there. Some of those topics overlap, but majority are purely Azure Security topics there that need to be understood in order to secure the AZ104 environment, right? The AZ104 objectives need to be implemented, and then they should be secured with AZ500 security environment. So that's a lot of, some of those topics are quite long in terms of security and critical, obviously. Every security topic is critical. So that's the introduction for security topics here. And let's take a break, and then we're going to talk about next week and our preparation for the lab as well, and what do we need, how will we go ahead, and what do you need to prepare your laptop for, what software you should have in your laptop before next week. So let's come back to this after these messages. Oh, okay, after the break. There's no messages. Okay, and yeah, are there any questions? So we cover all these topics. Yes. See, I do stunts all the time. So imagine if 2-in-1 is so long, how long was 4-in-1? So how pressurizing it was for me. But I do try these stunts. It's a value for you. You know, I even didn't put the fee for that much. Otherwise, it should have been $2,000 for the course. It is already very less, $500. So or $499. But the thing is that realistically speaking, I keep refreshing my knowledge. I get to know the changes because I'm implementing that in the market, and some of you are implementing that in the market as well. So it's always a benefit for me. It's a passion to teach, that's why I'm doing that. First thing. Second thing, it really benefits me, and the way we go ahead with the labs, I'm sure it's going to benefit you as well. Okay, so guys, here, what time back from break? Yeah, okay, great. And what time back from break would be? Normally it's 20-minute break. So I'll and guys, yeah, we're gonna talk about timing and everything after the break. Let's just take that break now. Um, so class starts at 12:20. Muting and pausing the video. Muting the mic, pausing the video now. Okay, so yeah, somebody was trying to reconnect, and that person can try to reconnect again, and um, I will let him enter. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead, and I'm gonna try to explain that how would we go about this course, and okay, so did I resume? Yeah, I did. So let's go ahead. Now, how do we go with implementing the whole lab? What do we need for the lab here? Obviously, we need an Azure user account, and then where do we get the video? So the video would be in LMS. So first of all, I will just go ahead and try to make a list here of things to do. And for that list, I'll just go ahead. So guys, I have a Microsoft 365 user per month, just for myself. So there I am trying to create a group, and I'll be inviting you there for as a guest account. So in Microsoft Teams, I'll be sending you the invitation, and then those who are willing to go ahead with the course, I will just and maybe it is possible that next week some people join. So I'll be putting that video up in other forums as well. So in that case, they will watch the video, and they will also come up and join us. So the list. So I'm just gonna, first of all, I want to tell you that there is Microsoft 365 4-in-1 course. Yeah, 2 weeks ago I started to market that, but then I thought that I won't be able to really finish that course. So it would not be fair to start something that I'm sure that I won't be able to give that kind of time. So that's why I'm just gonna go ahead in Teams. I'm gonna click that join or create a team. So I'm just gonna click that create a team here, and then I'll just create this course team from scratch. There are templates that's going to pop up as well, but I will just add your third-party email. So I'll just click that and click the private. Give your team a name. So it's AZ104-AZ AZ104. I hope it takes that AZ 500 course, and that also is done today. So 05 June 21. Oh yeah, I was able to write all that. Okay, so I'll be creating a team here, and I'll be adding your third-party email. So whatever email you have, Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, Live, you can put it on the chat, and I will add it in the group. So what I want you to do is to put your email in the chat, so I could add it as a group. There will be an invitation that you will receive. Excuse me, and you will then be able to connect to the teams and the notebook as well as a guest. So you may put your email, third-party email. Okay, I got the third-party emails here. So one Gmail, I'll just add yours here. You know what, I'll just now. So I've added your emails as guests. Your emails were consisting of Yahoo, Gmail, Hotmail, Live domains there. So those were probably your private emails. So I've added you all here. So you should be able to access this as a guest. Oh, okay. There's still another email there. So I'll add member. Okay, so that's one thing that I wanted you okay. So I've added your email here, and second thing is that this guest Teams. If I click that Teams here, then on the right side there's posts, there's files, and there's wiki here. So in the posts, I can you can just put it in the chat area here, up here, and message me as well when you're added as a guest, and just hello, hi, or exchange any message. Otherwise, we have WhatsApp as well, and LMS as well. So that's a lot of stuff. But this is we can say that this is the Teams that you can always connect before the start of the class. And I will also be connecting the Teams with my OneNote. So in OneNote, I will just try to create a new page where I will share the diagrams as well. So those diagrams I will be sharing on WhatsApp class group as well as in LMS as well. So first thing is the Teams is created and you're added there. So I wanted you to be added because yeah, I already added that one. So you put it up there as well. It's the same. Yep, it's the same. Okay, that's the first thing. Now I can actually email you. You're added in the email group as well, and yeah, there's a hi here as well. So you can just say hi in the general chat here in Teams, and Orang is already there, so that's good. So other than that, I'm gonna also ask if you have access to LMS, and Rizwan has replied. Rizwan is also there. Okay, that's good. And so I'm just gonna open that LMS as well. This is IT Prof courses use fedora.com. I wanted to change that domain, but still not able to. So here, this is the URL. If you haven't created an account here, so you can create a free account here as well. I'll put that in. Please create a free account. So please create a free account. Yeah, and I'll put that link here and in the chat as well. So oh, one student just connected now. Serious? Wow. Let me just give that student the meeting link now. Okay, so you can make sure that you create an account in this idprofcourses.usepera.com, which actually has a name of Amir's Online ID School. I'm Amir. My name is Amir. Okay, anyway, so here you just create a free account and let me know what is your account so I can just attach you to that course. In fact, here's that LMS interface, and if you see there's a new course there. I don't know why I'm not doing it in front of you. So this is the same, just to be just for you to know as well everything, and it should just be named as the same as well. So I'm just going there to grab grab this name. Okay, I'll just go to manage team and grab the name from here, and I'll just create a course for that, so you will be able to recognize this is the course. Subtitle, author is moi, and that's it, create course. So I'll be adding you to this course, and I'll be adding the whole structure of this course as well. For now, yeah, I'll be putting the lecture and everything. So, but what I would request is go ahead and create that account in Amir's Online School. There are some free courses there as well. You can just connect them as well. Also, there's an exam section there, so you can connect to that. I'll keep that updated from now on. Okay, so these are two things. The third thing is that I want to just explain that we will be, guys, let me just check one more thing here. Was I able to were they offering a class for education, a team for education? Do they have a template for education? No, they don't have. So in Humber College, when I'm using the teams, there is a template for education separately, or it's, they're the college, so they have the template, but overall they don't offer that educational template. Okay, anyway, so I will try to now show you or mention to you what needs to be done. So I'm just going to create a new notebook as well here. Serious. Notebook cannot contain this. Now in this notebook, I'll be starting to write everything and put the diagram there as well for whatever I create. And I'll be inviting you here as a guest as well. If you're added as a guest in my teams, so hopefully I will be able to add you here in this as well. So it's still opening at page. No, first the section has to be created, so I'll just put this name here. Again, that does not take that pipe sign. Okay, so that's the first page. So day 01, and that's Saturday, and it's 05/June/2021. Okay, so first thing is that I'm going to what is needed for the lab next week. So first thing is, right? First thing is I'll have a sip. Oh, I have to heat it up again later. So what's needed for the labs next week, right? So there is one thing on your laptop. Please install VMware Workstation. Well, I can also go for Oracle. What was that? VirtualBox, yeah. So that is free actually, but VMware Workstation is so good. It's paid, So what I want you to do is just get the 30-day trial version. Go to www.vmware.com, create your free account there, download the 30-day trial version. Why I'm saying 30-day? Because on the first class we're only going to, first and second class we will need it, we will not need it for next classes, the 30-day trial version of this. So after that we will be totally working online, right? Oh, it's .g.com. Hey, you put JJ. Okay, so guys, I need to just add a corrected email. Okay. Okay, check an invitation there. So I'm going to go back here. Guys, download the 30-day trial version for this because we will need it. We will need it for only 2 classes. And then I'm going to explain the lab as well. Which lab are we talking about here? And Manzur says, I don't have any invitations. Guys, anyone else? Orang, did you get the invitation? And then you click that. So in your email, others who respond, did you get an invitation there? And then you clicked it. Guys,
I got invitation for the team viewer. Team, what's the name? I forgot the name. This team, yeah. Microsoft team, yeah. But I didn't get any invitation for OneNote. So did you share the OneNote for with us?
Not yet, but I will be doing that.
Okay.
But thank you for sharing that. You got the invitation from the Teams, Microsoft Teams. Okay. So hopefully, oh, Mother says you don't have it. Well, I can add again. Don't worry. I'll just add the last email here. I'll just add the email again for Mother here in Teams. And you should get an invitation to your account. Okay. So hopefully you get the invitation there. I've added you to the team as guest. Okay, so okay, you got it. Cool. Now I was gonna go. So next week you need to have on your laptop or desktop a VMware workstation. This will be a Pro 16 version. Latest one is Pro 16. And it's a 30-day trial version. We will need it only for only 2 classes. So that's why 30-day trial version is good enough. You don't need to have a paid version. And second thing is you need to so download Windows Server 2019 ISO from Microsoft Downloads website. I'll just go there and download Windows 2019 ISO. I'll just put that link there as well. Try Windows Server 19 on Microsoft Evaluation Center. I'll click ISO here and so that's the link for that. I'm just going to be copying this link in the WebEx chat as well as WhatsApp chat. And yeah, I will be sharing this OneNote with you as well. So all those emails that I saw there, I'll be just adding here as well. You know what? day one is, we just make sure that you're able to put that. So since the emails are there already, I'll just start adding uh, for this one as well. So you'll get an invitation for now OneNote as well, and is outside of the organization, yeah. And this one. So guys, those who I click the send, you will be getting invitations now for OneNote. And second email. And there was one more too. Okay, so Teams and then OneNote. Hopefully you're able to see that. Okay. I'll just click the send button now. Sending mail. So so the link is sent. So now you should have OneNote invitation there as well. And what you're looking for is the course name, AZ104 Administrator and AZ500 Security course, 2-in-1 course. So if you see anything from there, so after that you should be able to see this. Download of Windows Server 2019. So this is what you need for next week, Windows Server 2019, and then create a free account in Azure. Okay, that's gonna be either a free trial account you will be able to create, or free trial account you should be creating, or if you have already created a free trial user account for Azure, then what? Then you will be not offered to create another trial account. So you will be asked to create a, just like mine is, pay as you go account. So guys, with the pay as you go account, I need to say a few things about this. First of all, we will do the labs in such a way that you will not be charged, right? Second thing, suppose you are charged, so it will be 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents, $1, $2. This course is so critical. If you're preparing for a job that's going to pay you 30 per hour, 40, 50 per hour, then spending even $1 or $2 for that particular month of pay-as-you-go usage should not be a big deal. I was willing to pay even if it goes to $10 for 1 month. I was willing to pay that because I wanted to learn when I was starting this. Actually, I was willing to pay anything to learn. So the thing is that so Manju says, is there a way to get some credits from Azure? Yes, if you have a college account somewhere, then you can use that account to create. Suppose you have Centennial or Humber or George Brown college account, any mainstream college accounts. So in that case, you will get, I think, $100 credit or $250 credit. But if you don't have any such accounts, or if you have that account and you have already used up once Azure, then good luck. Like you can still use that college account and try to create and see. If they detect you, they will not let you go ahead, and they will say go ahead and create a pay-as-you-go account otherwise. Some students in previous Azure course actually were able to create another free trial account. So when you're creating a free trial account, they check your name, they check your email. So change your email. You cannot change your name actually, but change your email. They check your credit card. So change your credit card if you can, and address can be the same. And phone, they also check that, but so if you change the email, yeah, try to do that. Rizwan says 200 credit. $200. Okay, so if you use a college account with Azure, I think those with Humber, we never did Azure Lab in Humber. So if you still have the Humber account, you can go ahead and if you can log in from that, so you can just go ahead and use that. Otherwise, maybe there's a COVID relief there, but I don't see any deal there for COVID relief to make 1 month account. So some of the students were able to actually create somehow another trial account with a changed email, changed phone number, changed credit card. So they just use their spouses, like their husband or his wife, their wife account, or their wife's email, phone number, credit card. Address can be same, name obviously your name, and they were able to create another trial account, $250 that is. Okay, so Rizwan says he's talking about Seneca College. Okay, so yeah, Seneca or Centennial or George Brown or Humber College, any of those, you will be getting Azure credit if you still have access to that. Okay, so I will be using pay-as-you-go. In fact, guys, what I will do is I will create a new Azure account now. I hope they don't detect my credit card number. And actually I use both. Third one is Visa debit, which they don't accept. So I will create now an Azure account, and then I will show you also if they don't accept you as a trial account for 30 days, which is $250 credits, then how to create a pay-as-you-go account as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I am using Edge. Sometimes it's so frustrating that it takes us to our Edge. But anyway, I'm just gonna try to. Oh, okay. I'm logged in from my actual domain, Cloud Engineers Academy. So I have to use another browser to create my account. Otherwise, I have to log in from here, log out from here. So I'm gonna go for my third browser here, which is Firefox. I'll go there and create that account. So I've yeah.
Amir, sorry. I just opened 2 months ago the free trial Azure, so it's still I can use it, correct? Or it means it has all the function that I need to, or because I didn't set up I think any credit card. I don't remember really.
Yeah, it's normally for 30 days. So I think if you log in now, and if you are able to create a virtual machine still, so this means that that account is working. If you're not able to create a virtual machine, then it's not working, and I'm gonna show you then how to do that. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and go to Azure free trial. So I'm typing in Google Azure free trial inside Firefox. So if you're trying to create an account, you can follow me now. Azure free trial, and then I'm going for Azure free account, get 12 months of free service. Don't buy this one. That's not true. 12 months free service for those services which you don't use much. But the critical ones that we need for the courses is just for 30 days. Storage, virtual machine, network. These are for 30 days. Other services that we don't use is free for 12 months. Seriously. Okay, so this is just because AWS actually offers 12 months everything free for certain amount of time per month. But they just wanted to match that. Otherwise, that's not true. Microsoft is always playing tricks. Okay. So here, create a Azure free account today. Get started with 12 months of free service. Yeah, right. Or buy now. So I'm just going to go for start for free. And I'm going to use my new email now. I hope, well, I will have to use one of the two credit cards. That's not good. Guys, there's one more thing to it. Okay, now I have to explain the whole scenario. And it's this good money saving tip here. So don't create an account now. See this? Now, first of all, let me just explain one thing. Office 365, I keep saying it's Office 365, it is now Microsoft 365, right? Office 365 has Azure Active Directory, right? Azure AD Active Directory, right? And this is SaaS. You know what's a SaaS? Software as a service. Software as a service is what? That you have a ready-made software ready to be used. You just log in and start using it, right? While Azure Cloud is what? It's IaaS, infrastructure as a service, IaaS, right? So that IaaS means, that you can create virtual machines here, you can create storage here, you can create here networks. It's a full data center. It's a full virtual data center. So Azure Cloud, which is infrastructure as a service, and Office 365, which is new name is Microsoft 365. So Microsoft 365 is software as a service, right? They both have one common mega service. We can say mega or major service, Azure AD. Azure Cloud also has Azure AD, and Office 365 or Microsoft 365 also has Azure AD. So the good thing with Office 365 is that you can create as many free accounts for that. As many free accounts for Office 365, which involves Exchange Online, which involves Teams Online, which involves SharePoint Online, and Azure Active Directory. While Azure Cloud is critical services are just for 30 days. It's here we are touching their hardware, we're using that, so they can't just simply give it for 1 year. AWS does that. Google Cloud also gives 1 year. So the thing is that in our course, we're going to start with Azure Cloud with first Azure Active Directory in depth, right? So we're going to go for Azure Active Directory in depth for Azure Cloud course, but we can use that same Azure Active Directory here in software as a service as well, right? So the thing is that if we create a new account for Azure, which is pay as you go, or which is trial version, right? In both cases, in trial version case, it's gonna expire in 30 days. So if we create today, it's gonna expire in 30 days. If we create a pay as you go, obviously you just have to be careful. If you follow my instructions, you will not incur any charges or very less charges, like a few cents or $1 or $2, right? So don't worry about that. But how about we can use Microsoft 365, we can all open a free account in Microsoft 365 and then go for in-depth Azure Active Directory. Once we are done with Azure Active Directory topic, then we can go for the storage topic. After that is virtual machine topic, then storage topic, then networking topic, right? So then we will continue with the rest of the topics that do not really require whatever we configured here to be transferred there. So that's the plan here. And what's the other benefit? When we are going to create VMs and storage, now we need a actual Azure cloud account, 30-day account. So obviously 30 days will start from there. That when we start with VMs. If we create now, today, and when we are done with half of the VM topic, we will run out of 30 days. They'll be gone. So then you will have to convert to pay-as-you-go anyway, right? And then you have to be just a bit extra careful, that's all. Nothing else. I will tell you all the rules, and then you will be fine. So that's how the whole environment goes, right? But you get to know how Azure Active Directory is accessed here in Microsoft 365, but also that it's the same Azure Active Directory here in IaaS. So this is one way to save your 30 days to be started on when the VMs is there. In fact, the Azure security course is also on Azure Cloud. So obviously, your 30 days will finish anyway. You know, so by the time you will reach storage half topics, 30 days will be finished. Even if you create an account here on VMs, it's just 30 days, right? So anyway, and then the security topics will go ahead, and those we still have to use pay-as-you-go account. So we can try to create an account later in Azure, and we can create an account in Microsoft. So this is also one other way. So are you guys okay with that? To create that, I know that what I can tell you from my side, Azure AD is exactly the same on both, and I've tried this in some other classes where we started with Azure in Microsoft 365, then we left it, and we went for simply rest of the topics in VMs. Then we created that Azure account later in the course, right? So since you all insist and you're all saying yes, okay, thank you. So we will go ahead with that, and we will try to create an Azure ready. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a free Office 365 account, and then we're going to connect to Azure Active Directory. And if you understood all that, I'll just copy that here. Anyone got invitation for OneNote? Okay. So are we creating two separate accounts? Yes, Jay. So first we're going to create a Microsoft 365 or Office 365 account. Why? To use the Azure Active Directory free there, because it's a 30-day account, but it is free. You can create as many of those. Then once we are finished with the topic of Azure Active Directory in 2-3 classes, then we're going to go for virtual machines. Now at that time, after 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to come to Azure, and we're going to create an Azure account here. Well, that's the plan, but there are some comments if we can change that plan too. So wait for me. But for now, that's the plan. So today we create this. After 3 weeks, we create account for Azure. I'm going to show you everything, obviously. You just need to follow. Then Mansoor says, for pay-as-you-go account, can you share some tips like do not leave VM as open, always shut down them if we are not using it? Well, obviously, when we are going for Azure pay-as-you-go, which I will be also going for, so I will be telling that, but I'll mention here as well now that if some of you are still going for this account that we will be creating after 3 weeks, if some of you are still creating that now, you just have to be careful that so I don't want to confuse the students now, because today we're going for Office 365 just to use Azure Active Directory free, because that's the same service, exactly same in Azure as well. So then we will use create that. But in case you are using Azure Cloud with pay-as-you-go, then make sure when you create a VM, then you delete it right after the lab is done. When you create storage, then delete it. So the main thing is delete whatever you created right after the lab is done. Delete it right after the lab is done. Same for network and other labs. So lab normally has 4 hours of, normally we go for 4 hours of lab, or 4.5 or 5 hours of lab later. So this is enough to have that service created and used, and then deleted in 4 to 5 hours. That's a safe time. And you might incur 3 cents, 4 cents, which is nothing. Be prepared for $2-3. It's less than your coffee. So when you're learning a very critical course, don't worry about $2 or $3 or $4 or $5, right? Okay. That's what Manju says. And then, oh, you got the invite. Manju says he got the invite for OneNote. Jay says, so we need 2 different email. Oh, no, Jay, we need right now. So right now, what do we need? You can actually follow me just, and you will understand. Otherwise, what do we need now is one regular email. Regular means what you use every day. You need to not create any new email, and your cell phone number, because it's going to do a multi-factor authentication from you. It needs to check you are who you say you are, your cell phone. Right now, what we need to create that your regular email, cell phone, that's it, and we need your name. Oh yeah, we do not need credit card to create. That's a good thing. To create an Office 365 account. And also, we are using Office 365 just to use Azure Active Directory. So hopefully we understand why we're using Office 365. Otherwise, we're not touching Office 365. Anything else, we're not touching. It's just Azure Active Directory because we don't use credit card, and our 30 days will not start. Main thing is our 30 days will not start from today. They will start from whenever Azure Directory topic finishes. Then our 30 days account we will create, and then it will start. If you're creating a free trial, if they detect that you already had that account, then you will anyway go with me to pay as you go. So I'll show you everything. Every step I will show. But hopefully you understand what we're doing. So we need 2 different email. No, I didn't get the OneNote. Oh, Oran says she didn't get the. Mohammed Mudassir says I didn't get the invite as well for OneNote. Okay, so I'll click the share. So some got it, some did not. Yeah, welcome to Microsoft. So I'll just go for who. Oh, Mohsen also didn't get it. So Mohammed did not get it. Orang did not get it. You can share OneNote 3 Teams files as well. Yeah, that's what I was looking for actually. Teams. And if I go there, oh no, there was normally there is OneNote appears here, right? If I go to plus and add a tab, does it get added here? Oh, it gets added here. Man, you're a genius, Banjo. Okay. So yeah, guys, see this? Are you in Teams? First of all, let's go back. Are you in Teams? Go to Teams, right? Go to Teams. Once you're in Teams and you see your team here, right? And then there's a general here, general, right? And then I've just added team as an app from the plus sign here. So if you, I hope you're able to see AZ104, AZ500 in the line of general, posts, files, wiki, and then AZ104. So if you click that, then do you see the OneNote here? Yes. Okay, thank you for that reply. Oh, nice. So you're able to see that. Good, good. Everyone is able to see that? Anyone not able to see that, let me know. Okay, good. Okay, great. So that's good, that's good. Everyone is able to see that. Thank you, Manju, for this. In Humber, when I created that, it was already there. OneNote was already there. But that was an education OneNote template for team. That's fine. Okay guys, let's go ahead. That's good. Now you have the teams already available here, right? So go inside your teams and then check OneNote from there, right? Okay, let's go ahead. And what I was explaining here is, let's just quickly create an Office 365 account, and then I will show you Azure Active Directories inside. Our first topic is in-depth Azure Active Directory, right? So, okay. I'm just going to, if you understand this, and why I was going to Teams, because I wanted to copy this. I'm going to copy this diagram, and I'm going to paste it, and you should also be able to see that now in Teams, right? This one now. So it should be updated to your side in a few seconds. Now, I'm just going to go to Office 365 instead of going to Azure. So everyone, if in order to create a free Office 365 user account, just go to type this, and you need to type this as I type. So Office 365, go ahead and type this in your Google. Office 365 E5. What is E5? Enterprise 5. E5 is this is the highest license that has all the facilities that Microsoft can give in Office 365. There's a E3 license, which is Enterprise 3 license, lesser features. Then there's E1 license, Enterprise 1, and it has even lesser features. Then there are others as well, like business license. I have actually business one that I purchased for this course. Okay, so anyway, you can see here Office 365 E5 trial. See this? So type E5 and then type trial in your Google and enter. Everyone doing that? Yes. Okay, thank you for that reply. So Office 365 E5 trial here. Oh, I'm searching Bing. God forgive me. I'm not using Google. Okay, anyway, Office 365 E5 trial, right? And then we just need to create a trial account, that's all. I'm going down. So whichever page I land on, I'm going to copy that link to you if you're unable to find that in the search, right? So I'm going to go for Microsoft 365 Enterprise 5. Okay, I'll click this one. Sometimes users do not land on exactly which I land on. Okay, this is not the trial version. I'm just going to click compare enterprise plans. So wait for me. And E5 is this one. Office 365 for enterprise. Let me just go to the final page and I'll share it with you, and you can just go directly to that page. So just bear with me. E5, try for free. Okay. Now this is that final page, yes. And Control C, I'm going to copy this link, and you can just go to this link and so to create an Office 365 to create Office 365 free trial for only Azure Active Directory Labs for AZ104. I'm writing all this so nobody gets confused. Why are we going to Office 365? Is this Office 365 course? No, it's not. Free trial for only Azure Active Directory Labs for AZ104. So yeah. So if you are all on this link, you already have a subscription through work. The organization manages your user, blah, blah, blah. If you want to sign up for a trial, sign out of your work account and create a new account that you manage. Create a new account. Okay. I want to create a new account, that's all. So I'm just going to click that, create a new account, and follow the instructions. Yeah, I was logged in from my George Brown email account. So where we created that practice account there. Okay, this is the page you should be on. This is the page you should be on. We're only again and again I'm going to be repeating that that we're creating an Office 365 account just to use Azure Active Directory for the AZ104 course. It's still an AZ104 course, not lazy 104. It's AZ104. Just kidding. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this link. If you land on this directly, wow, that would be great. Creating, yeah.
Sorry, I mean, mine is not shows this page. So you click the create a new account, correct?
Yes. So I've put a new link. Or can you click that? Another link there. So Office 365 new account E5. Okay, it's good now. Cool. So guys, here you need to type your regular email. Your Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, whatever. You need to type your regular, whichever email you want to type. It's free, right? So Office 365, when it comes to that, Microsoft is very generous. So I'm going to go for my regular email, itguyme@gmail.com. From this, I created hundreds already. Okay, so I'm going to just put my Gmail account here and click next, right? It's next, finish, right? But yeah, follow me. Don't go for any customizations. So it says, oh, looks like you don't have an account. So you want to set up an account? Yes, we want to set up an account. So let's click set up account. Let's click set up account. And then this comes, tell us about yourself. So yes, your real name and your real everything. So sometimes students say, oh, sir, do we want to give our real name? Yes, of course. Okay, so Amir Shahzad. Business phone number. This is your actual phone number. 647-554-9446. Your phone number, not mine. Okay. And company name is whatever company name you want to give. Well, currently it's Cloud Engineers Academy. Company size, I have a big company, 1 person. Okay. And Canada, yeah, in Canada. So just, that information. And then I'm going to click next. Right? So once I click next, now it is asking, okay, we're going to text you to know you are who you say you are. So I'll just grab my phone and click send verification code. And there you go. So it is verify. So once you verify, I hope everyone is able to easily verify. Then we have to put a domain name here. The domain name ends with your free domain for Microsoft, which is .onmicrosoft.com. Don't worry, we're just using it for 30 days, so it's okay. It's going to finish way before 30 days. It's just Azure Active Directory that we're exploring here. So what you can do is you can put your name here, your first name, not my first name, your first name, and today's date, 05June2021, and your favorite food. So I'll just go for biryani. Yeah, you know I do. Everyone likes biryani. Biryani is like spicy rice with spicy chicken. Or you can.
So why we should put the biryani there? Why should we just name on the day?
Yeah, you can go for something unique, right? So suppose there's an account on the globe, somebody already created with this. I'm sure nobody created today exactly this, but just put a unique name there. You don't have to put biryani. You can put your favorite food there, or everyone, or car, or hero name, or film, movie name. So just put something unique here. Cool. My unique favorite thing is food, and it comes to spicy rice with spicy chicken. Why am I saying that again? Okay, so yeah, biryani and check availability. Check availability. So there you go. Your first name, it's available. That's what we need to know. If it is available, and you put some unique name there, you need to remember all this. I'll tell you where to take a picture from your cell phone or save it somewhere, because next week you're going to forget it. I'm telling you now, you will forget it. This is for everyone, right? So I'm gonna click next here. And go ahead, and it's asking you to create admin account. So we will call it admin at whatever your domain name dot on microsoft.com, right? So admin, and then there's a create password here, so you can give a class password, and many of my students know what is a class password, and some of the students actually put that class password for their bank accounts as well, which is a very bad idea. So small ABC, capital ABC, shift 123 without shift 123, or that's a small ABC at the start. You know, Microsoft has started saying that from way back, that this password has been seen too many times. So I take the credit for that. So in every college I do that. So maybe thousands of students now are putting this, and Microsoft says we're not going to accept this. This is too much used. So go for XYZ. If that is not accepted, the same logic behind that: small XYZ, capital XYZ, shift 123. In case, let me just explain. In case the first one doesn't work, then use this. Or you know the logic, just go for BNM, small BNM, capital BNM, or QWE, small QW, capital, just, okay. Or just use your own, password that, please don't forget it. That's the only thing. I'm going to use the XYZ one, and I'll put it here and here. Okay, so once you have put in your passwords there, then do not click this. I would like to hear from Microsoft. No. I would like Microsoft to share. No. So don't select these boxes and sign up. Sign up. Sign up. Okay, sign up. And yeah, I will save it. Well, when I next log in, then I'll save it. So guys, I'm going to tell you to save it somewhere, and that's pretty crucial. Okay, for now, I'll say don't save. Setting up your account. This is information. Take a picture of it now. Your information here, because majority of the students forget, oh, what was my user account? Admin at whatever long domain and whatever free domain, right? And then confirmation has been sent to your email, but I'm gonna take a picture of that, because as far as I'm concerned, I will forget. So I'll end the logic. If you've been following this logic, so I'll put that username in OneNote as well. So I'm gonna put it on the top. It's so annoying that I'll put it on the top. Our username for Office 365. Our username for because I'm sure many of us will forget that, and it is confusing. Okay, so later you will find class video here later when I'm done with this. And so okay, so guys, now I'm gonna go back here. If you have saved this information, let's click get started. Right? Let's click get started. Thank you for choosing Microsoft 365. Let's finish setting things up. Okay, I'm just doing the voiceover. So you should be on this page. We're not going to configure anything on this page. You should be on this page, but we're not going to be configuring anything on this page. Why? Because we do not need to install Office. We don't need to add a third-party domain. In fact, we do, but I'm going to tell you how to do that. We're going to do it the other way. We will be adding a separate domain, and that's the next point I'm going to make now. Before next week, you need to purchase a new domain from GoDaddy.com in 99 cents or $1.20. Okay, add users. Yes, we're going to do that later. Connect domain. We'll do that later. Share Microsoft Teams. Do that later. So, do you all see this? Do you all see the exit setup here? Yes. Okay, so let's click the exit setup. Okay, let's click the exit setup. And please make a selection if I am not ready to complete setup. Yeah, just select anything. I'm not ready to complete setup. This is the okay one. I'm not ready to complete setup. And it's okay for Microsoft to contact me. No, it's not okay to. So just click send and exit. Select on some reason and send and exit. Okay, send and exit. Yeah, my kid. So I'm just screaming with him as well. Whispering. So now we're inside. Remember, next class we're logging in from this, and then we're gonna go ahead. Oh, well, if you see on the left side show all, I just click the show all, right? So if I go for show pin, so this is how it's looking here, show all, right? I hope everyone's seeing show all. I'm going to click that show all, and then you should be able to see Azure Active Directory here. So this is the only service here that we're going to be using until this topic finishes, and then we're going to switch to Azure Cloud, and we're going to create a pay-as-you-go account there, or free trial. The lucky ones will get free trial, others pay-as-you-go. So this is Azure Directory. This is where you should be in next class, right? We're going to go step by step, one by one, to do everything. Okay, one more thing is, so this is done, right? The steps that you need to take. Create a free trial account in Azure Cloud, I was saying, but we have created a free account in Office 365 E5 trial, right? Enterprise 5 trial. Okay. Okay, now before next week, one more thing is, well, that can happen before 2 weeks. So next and the week after. Before next week, still I'm just going to write there, before next week, please go to www.godaddy.com and purchase a cheap domain for 1 year in no more than $2. Yeah.
Amir, sorry. So I just bought one domain, but I use it for the tenant in the Azure. So can I use it same domain, or should I purchase another one?
If you want to use the same domain, then you have to remove it from the previous tenant and then use it here. If you don't want to remove it from previous tenant, then purchase a new one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, can I use my old domain? Mohammed Nasser says yes. Same answer, Mohammed. It's you can remove it from your previous whichever tenant you've attached it to, and if it is already removed, you can use it. If it's not removed, you won't be able to use it for the new tenant of Microsoft. It will detect that already. So remove it from previous tenant and use it here. Okay. So others, please go ahead and purchase 99-cent or $2 domain. Let me just give you a hint of that too. If we go for GoDaddy.com and there, how to purchase a domain. Suppose you want to go for anything. Amir's domain. Suppose I go for some name there. So if I press enter in this search, it's going to suggest you, and it's going to give you, wow, .ca is just 99 cents. Are you kidding me for first year? Oh, every domain is 99 cents. So anyway, whatever is 0.99, make sure when you check out, it's still .99 plus tax, which will be $1.20 or 30 cents, right? So it should not go more than 2. Sometimes you select 99 cents domain, when you're checking out, it's $10. So just don't check anything in the process. Like, don't select anything else and don't select any other service in the process. Make sure it's $2 maximum or $1 something, and yeah, go ahead and buy it for 1 year, the first year, and then later you need to uncheck auto renew for that domain. You need to uncheck auto renew for that domain. So it will not renew. Next year they will charge you $20 per year. Okay, so that's the second point here. So before next week, you need these following things, and the video will be here as well. If you have any friends who want to join during the week, you can let me know, and I'll add him or her here in these Teams and in Teams and OneNote, right? But basically just in Teams and in LMS as well. So also before next week is one more thing here. So it's did you create your free account in LMS? So if you did, just let me know. I'll add you to the course here. So these are the things that we want. So next week, what we're going to do, we're going to you must have next week VMware Workstation Pro downloaded and installed already, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is what? 2019 only downloaded, not installed. Only downloaded because we're going to install it together, but not installed, right? So the third thing is create a free trial account in Azure Cloud, but we have, yeah, this is already done, right? So this is done. And fourth thing is GoDaddy.com. Yes, you need to purchase that. Fifth thing is, did you create in your free account so that you can create anytime? So yeah, that's it for today, guys, and we're gonna meet at 9:55 sharp to start the class at 10. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna install Windows Server 2019. Again, my request would be that if you're stuck somewhere, you can ask me in the break or at the end of the class, and let me finish the whole lab. But I will, if you're following with me and you're stuck, you can ask me. I'm stuck here, and there is that button in this WebEx where you can share your screen. You can show me your screen. I can tell you, oh, do this, go there, go there, go there, do this. Within 5 minutes, if it solves, it's okay. Otherwise, if it's a long issue, then you can let me go ahead and finish and showing you the whole lab, so you could have a full recording of that for that day, and you can follow it up during the week by following the recording, right? But repeat all the labs at home multiple times and ask questions during the class. It's not compulsory that you follow the lab with me during the class. If you're stuck somewhere, I'll help you for 3 to 5 minutes, but then let me go ahead and finish the whole lab to show you how it is done. Otherwise, we will all miss it. So that's a request. Okay, guys, if there are any questions, let me know. Otherwise, you can, those who want to go ahead with, oh yeah, one more thing here. Those who decided to go ahead with the course, you may do e-transfer to your first name. That's actually my first name. My first name at cloudengineersacademy.com, and the fee is $4,500. I'm just kidding. It's so nice to say that, right? Okay, anyway, $499, and so you can pay me today or tomorrow. Okay, guys, please don't make me fun. Okay, so you may do transfer to this, and see you next week, and be ready to work hard and follow the plan, right? We discussed the plan. We need the video. Let me know. By tonight or tomorrow, I'll be putting this video up here. And since everyone has access to this, if anyone doesn't have access, let me know. Just give me your Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail. I'll add it here, and you will have access to this Teams as well, right? Okay, guys. So if there are any questions, let me know. Otherwise, see you next week, Saturday, 9:55 sharp.
Thank you, Amir. So just one question, Amir. I think I created one virtual machine in Azure. So now, how can I delete it? Because I think it charged me. It showed me a price. It said 199 blah blah. So yeah, I think the free trial for the 1 month has been finished. So how can I delete it? I wonder, it's not showing any virtual machine on the dashboard, on the all resources, but I'm sure it said successful. But what do you think?
Oh yes. So you know what? I need to see your screen for that. So you can do it after the class, or you want to show it now. It's up to you.
Okay, yeah, I can do that right now if it is okay for you. If you have time. So where I am? Yeah, here. I think this one. You can see it, correct? You can see my screen?
Yes.
So it is all resource, correct? And dashboard. I just want to remove it. So it is a virtual machine here. It show me there is no anything. So I am good.
Virtual machines is not showing anything. Yes. So if you go to cost management and billing, this is the left bottom. Way down. Down. Yeah.
Here.
And go to, yeah, there's your subscription billing account. So click this one. Yeah, under the billing scope, your orang.postcani email.
Yeah, this one.
And you got $0. Yay! Okay.
Yeah, but right now I just created still, so they do not. Maybe next week I get the bill for it. So I just want to delete it, but I don't know where to go.
No, actually, virtual. You need to remember what you created and just go there. If you were working only on virtual machines, then you need to just delete virtual machines. Then you're good, because virtual machines, this area is empty. Then you're good.
So it is empty, correct? So I don't know. I came here. I add.
Add.
So I give them some resources, blah blah, and I said create, and it said successful. But I don't know what happened to it. Okay, it's fine.
You're good. Your free trial is still working.
Okay.
So you're good
thank
for
you.
next week as well. But since you have a subscription already, you can work either here in Azure Active Directory, or what account we create there. Cool.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I have to change my window to 2019 too, because just recently I installed Windows 2016. So we need to use 2019, correct?
You know what? We're not going to install it here in Azure. We're going to
I
install
know,
it in the laptop in the VMware workstation.
Yeah, on Prem. Yeah, I did that. Okay, I will change it.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, welcome. Bye.
How can I stop this? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I will share my screen. Yeah, this one
Okay.
shared already. Very good.
Okay.
And so, guys, this is it. If there are any questions, let me know. Otherwise, see you next week. And yeah, bye bye. So you need to ask anything. You're added in the WhatsApp group of the class WhatsApp group, and you can just talk there as well throughout the week. Okay, bye bye. So I'll just stop the video, and I will stop the recording as well. If there are any questions, let me know. Stop the recording.